What's up everyone, welcome back to my channel. For this video, I would like to share some postgraduate tips and lessons that I've learned after graduating from my master's last year in 2022. I hope this video can be insightful for the people who's watching, especially who are trying to navigate throughout their postgraduate life. Let's start with my background first. So I got my bachelor's degree from University of Toronto in 2020, and then I directly moved to New York and attended Columbia for my master's in science in biomedical engineering, and I graduated last year in 2022. And right now I'm working as a data scientist in healthcare. So I started to apply to jobs in the end of December, and how I did it was I applied 3 jobs every single day until I got an offer, basically, because applying a lot of jobs at once is so overwhelming. So this is the strategy I took, and what I used to apply was basically a resume and cover letter, and often they will give me coding assessments to do. In total, I applied to around 200 jobs, and I heard back from roughly 20 of them, which is kind of good considering a 10% response back rate. There will be a lot of silent rejections. Fortunately, I was able to find a job who was willing to invest in me and take me on, and I'm so lucky it was a New York job. So now let's talk about imposter syndrome. So back in my graduate school and undergraduate as well, I did suffer from imposter syndrome. Only kind of in the beginning though, because as time passes, you get used to it. For me personally, I suffered from this because I was surrounded by all these high achievers. And for a job too, I think you'll experience it as well, especially in the beginning, where you don't know anything about the job, you just lack knowledge, and everybody around you is so knowledgeable in this specific area or this specific project, and you just don't have that knowledge basically. And that's sort of a different kind of imposter syndrome compared to your school imposter syndrome. But over time, it will get better, right? As you learn more stuff, as you acquire more skills, as you become more knowledgeable in areas that you need to do specific tasks and assignments, it'll get better. So that's not something you should worry about. While you're working, you will also have these thoughts where you tend to compare yourself to other people in your age group, and especially the people who are you think are doing better than you. So the people who work in a more prestigious company who has a higher salary. But the thing is, when people share about these stuff, it's only superficial, right? People tend to only share stuff that they're happy about themselves. You can't really see what's deep inside there. They don't really talk about the negatives and the problems they're facing. And that is something I came to realize that. So that is something that you should try your best to avoid. So in the end, it's not a fair comparison to do, right? Nobody has their life figured out. Nobody is perfect. So yeah, just don't compare yourself to others. Next, I want to talk about finding your own community circle. So back in college, you had your own college circle, right? With your friends, people around your age. But once you graduate and you're in the work life, you gotta find that circle by yourself. And that is quite difficult. And even for me, I wasn't really sure where to start, because most of your college friends will move to locations where they're close to work. So your college circle will kind of dissolve and you have to find new people. And that can be quite difficult and daunting sometimes. And I think for me, what worked is find people who have shared interests with you. For example, for me, that is boxing, Broadway shows, theaters, movies, cycling. Yeah, you find people from each of these niches, and then you'll develop different kinds of communities. And I think that's more of a positive thing, because you can meet people in different age groups, and especially the people who are a lot older than you. They can give a lot of wisdom to you to how to navigate life, because they have it more figured out. And it is more fun that way, right? Because you can find people who exactly match your interest, and you can, personally for me, I think you can get along better. So I take that as a more positive thing, rather than being stuck in your college circle and just hang out with the same people all the time. Next, let's talk about financial independence. So once you graduate college and you get a job, you gotta be more mindful about your spending habits. For me, both in my undergrad and my graduate studies, my parents paid for my tuition. I didn't really have to worry about the money at all. But once you graduate, you have to start worrying about it because you're more independent, you have more control over your life now. So you gotta be more mindful about like your rent, your bills, your food, and memberships too. And you know, going out and stuff, which is really overwhelming. And at least for me, since my parents, you know, paid for my tuition and stuff and raised me since I was small, a huge chunk of my paycheck still goes back to my parents as a repayment for their hard work in raising me. So that is something I also consider about my financial situation. Although I'm saying a lot about spending habits, I don't think you should go extremely crazy about like keeping track of every single thing you spent and be so meticulously checking about like what you can spend, what you can't spend, and all those single stuff. I'm a firm believer about like having fun and just enjoying life too. And after, you know, just done college, you want to have some fun, right? So I just think that during this period of time, you should start building some healthy spending habits. Next, let's talk about self-care. So back in school, you're probably allocating a lot of your time and energy towards getting good grades, doing extracurricular activities such as research, assistantships, or internships. But then once you graduate and you're in the workforce right now, you will, at least for me, be confused on where to allocate the energy for. And for me, I think it is really important to spend that energy on yourself, where you invest in your own wellness, you invest in your diet, you invest in your sleep, you invest in skill sets, like your hobbies and stuff. So being more mindful about your body and investing in your own health is something that I highly recommend focusing on once you graduate out of college, because you know, you have one body, right? You got to take care of it, and it won't be the same body as it was back in college. So you gotta be more cautious, be more mindful about what you do in your daily life and your wellness overall. So to put everything together, nobody has things figured out once you graduate. So there's no need to like worry, no need to stress about it, no need to like compare yourself to other people. Just focus on yourself and just don't think too much into it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful or resonated with some of you people. I'll be happy to discuss anything further in the comment section below. Until then, I'll see you guys later.